Hey guys, just on my way to a product launch meeting, and I thought I'd stop by and make this quick video for you lot. When I was younger, I used to ask myself, is an entrepreneur made, or are they only just born and you cannot develop that trait over your lifetime? And I get this question a lot, especially from youngsters or guys at university that are just thinking of going along this entrepreneurial route, but they're not sure if they have the traits and have the characteristics that an entrepreneur should have. So before we address that question, let's touch upon some of the key traits that an entrepreneur does display. So my first key trait would be that an entrepreneur is a lifelong learner. And by that, what I mean is they don't just go to university, study their course such as physics or maths, and then feel as if they know everything they need to know for that journey. They're always learning. They understand that they always need to be picking up new traits, new skills, new attributes. And so they're always reading and always putting themselves in environments where they're able to learn. My second point would be that an entrepreneur has the ability to show empathy. And what's empathy? Empathy is thinking in the shoes of somebody else and understanding what their wants and needs are. So an entrepreneur is not only able to show that empathy and understanding what somebody else wants and needs are, but they're then able to execute upon that to provide a product or a service which deals with that problem which they've just diagnosed themselves. So that's the two steps so far. They're lifelong learners and they show a great level of empathy and then act upon that empathy to provide a product or service. And so far, as you can see, both these skills, you can teach yourself these things. This is not something you have to be born with. You can teach yourself to be a lifelong learner by reading the right articles, by picking up the right books and learning from entrepreneurs before you. How did they deal with situations? When they had difficulties, how did they overcome them? When they came across something which they didn't understand or they hadn't seen before, how would they educate themselves to know how to deal with that situation? And also with the empathy, you can develop that empathy. And by no means is that easy. But there's small exercises such as, just thinking, what does that person want and need? How can I make that person's life easier? That's how an entrepreneur thinks. They don't think, how can I make my life easier? They think, how can I make the community's life easier? What is lacking at the moment that's not being catered for? And how can I provide that in a quicker, more efficient way? And sometimes, believe it or not, that's not always a new product. Sometimes you can take an existing product and say, I'm going to provide this more efficiently. I'm going to provide this cheaper or a better service. And that's also an entrepreneur. You don't have to be, an inventor. You don't have to invent a brand new product. You can simply take an existing product, but just provide it better than anybody else out there in the market. So my final attribute, and this comes in loads of different forms and a lot of different buzzwords which you hear out there, but I'd label it as tenacious. Be tenacious. An entrepreneur has this level of tenacity, and you can call it passion, determination, sheer willpower. But what it is it's that ability to stay up through the difficult nights, to keep working. Even when you don't see the end of that tunnel, you just continue to work hard and you're going to come out on the other end. You just have this sheer focus. And again, that's not something which you have to be born with. Of course you can develop that. So overall, yes, an entrepreneur can be developed. And they can be developed through working on those three key traits. Become a lifelong learner. Become somebody who has empathy and who's able to act upon that empathy to provide a solution. And also just be tenacious. Just be a go-getter. Somebody that's not going to take no for an answer and just going to keep striving and striving and striving until they see the end of that tunnel. And the key thing to mention here is that you can do this whether you have a business now or not. Whether you're at university, whether you're in a 9-to-5 job, or you're in a situation where you want to move into an entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have that idea yet. So what I'd say to that person and I often get this question, is you don't need to be searching for that idea, but rather you need to be working on those attributes. Once you have those attributes, you'll be in a position where you realize a lot more of those ideas are coming to you because you've got that empathy, you've got that passion to learn, you come up with new ideas, and you're just tenacious. So good luck.